The Explainer. Today we are breaking down something literally changing. We're diving deep into the raw, intense philosophy of David Goggins, specifically his recent ideas on mental architecture. Now, we aren't just going to sit here and listen to motivational sound bites. No way. We're going to deconstruct his whole mindset into a structured, architectural system for the brain. We're building what he calls the mental lab. So if you're ready to organize your headspace and completely armor up for life's challenges, you are definitely in the right place. Okay, let's just run through the blueprint of the mental lab we're building together today. 1. Chosen versus unchosen suffering. 2. Organizing the mental lab. 3. Humility in the hustle. 4. The 80% darkness. And finally, number 5. You are the purpose. All right, let's dive right in. So section 1. Chosen versus unchosen suffering. Basically, preparing for the ultimate competitor.
We kind of need to ground ourselves in a really harsh reality right off the bat here. The external world is the ultimate competitor, and it is constantly seeking out your weaknesses. To survive that, you've got to be ready. Now, there are basically 2 distinct types of suffering. First up, you have unchosen suffering. This is the trauma, the devastation, the massive external obstacles that the world is inevitably going to throw at you. And let's be real, you have absolutely zero control over when those hit. But the antidote to that is chosen suffering. That's voluntarily waking up early. That's doing what sucks every single day, intentionally facing your own internal demons. The crucial takeaway here is that by actively practicing chosen suffering, you're literally forging the physiological and psychological armor you're going to need to withstand the unchosen suffering when it finally shows up at your door.
Think about a Jersey barrier on a highway, right? Hitting a massive concrete wall at full speed doesn't just stop your momentum, it completely destroys the car. When life hits you with unchosen suffering, it wants to be a Jersey barrier for your mind. It wants to be a total dead end. But because you've conditioned your nervous system with chosen suffering beforehand, you actually gain the emotional and mental agility to maneuver around those tragedies. You process them quickly, and you just keep moving forward.
Moving inside, section 2, organizing the mental lab, and really why motivation totally fails. So, now that we've dealt with the external world, we have to move indoors to the actual architecture of your mind. We hear motivation and discipline used interchangeably all the time, right? But they aren't the same thing, not at all. Motivation is literally just a fleeting emotion. It's a temporary spike in dopamine that vanishes the exact second things get hard. Discipline, on the other hand, is consistent, structured action. But here's the secret, and this is absolutely crucial. Discipline itself is completely useless if your mind's circuitry is overloaded. True discipline actually requires a meticulously clear headspace to even function.
Just think of your brain like a circuit breaker, or maybe a super crowded, messy garage. If you take your job, your relationships, your stress, your unresolved past, your goals, and you plug them all into one single circuit, what happens? Boom, it blows. The whole system crashes. If your mental garage is just cluttered with unorganized thoughts and daily stress, you physically cannot fit discipline inside it. Sure, you might squeeze it in for a day or two, but you absolutely will not have the baseline consistency required to genuinely change your life.
So how do we actually fix the circuit breaker? Well, we build mental zones. These are compartmentalized shelves in your mind. And listen, this isn't some one-time magic fix. It's an active, daily practice. It means spending time every single evening, maybe through meditation or just silent reflection, to literally reorganize that mental garage. You sweep out the junk, you put your job on one shelf, your family on another. And by doing this every night, when you wake up the next morning, you have this massive, clear space entirely dedicated to discipline. You're armoring up before you ever even step out the door.
Okay, section 3, humility in the hustle. Basically, the ultimate growth tool.
Now that our mental lab has clean shelves, what exactly are we putting on them? Well, it turns out one of the most vital tools for mental toughness is radical humility. Let's look at the incredible real-life progression of a man named William Crawford. Get this, as a young man, Crawford actually received the Medal of Honor. That is the absolute highest military award for heroic, life-saving actions in combat. Yet years later, he worked quietly as a janitor at the Air Force Academy. He spent his days literally cleaning bathrooms for young cadets who had absolutely no idea they were walking past a living legend. He took the taunting, he did the hard, unglamorous work without a single complaint. It perfectly exemplifies true servant leadership. The core lesson here is just profound. You must put your ego in the closet, pick up the broom, and get to work. True growth doesn't come from walking around acting like you're at the top of the mountain. If you view yourself as better than anyone else, you lose your edge, and honestly, you completely lose your ability to help people.
You have to stay out of the dungeon of your own ego. Because by remembering what it's like to be at the bottom, you retain that grounded knowledge of how to climb and, more importantly, how to teach others to climb right alongside you. Which brings us to Section 4, the 80% darkness, conducting the live autopsy. All right, we are now walking into the darkest, most uncomfortable corner of the mental lab. This is a zone completely defined by intense suffering, physical and mental pain, constant failure, crippling self-doubt, basically pure darkness. Sounds terrifying, right? But the undeniable truth is this: toughness is absolutely never found in a comfortable environment. You are never going to find your true self by setting easy, achievable goals. You only find out who you really are when you set goals so high that you end up drowning in these dark elements, completely out of your depth, which forces your mind and body to adapt.
And that leads us to the concept of the live autopsy. Now, usually an autopsy happens after you're dead to figure out what went wrong, right? But why wait? You need to perform a live autopsy on yourself right now. You gotta dig into the uncomfortable archives of your past traumas, your failures, and your deep-seated shame. You lay them all out on the table in your mental lab, you study them objectively, and you fix the problems while you are still alive and breathing. Face it, fix it, and make it better. Laying your absolute deepest insecurities out on the table while you're still alive, that is the ultimate act of courage.
Finally, Section 5. You are the purpose. Taking control of the brain.
So, this brings us to the final peak of our mental blueprint today. It's time to dismantle our reliance on external goals and figure out what ultimate victory actually looks like. I want you to ask yourself this directly, right now. Why do you fall off the wagon when there's no race, no test, and absolutely nothing on the docket? I mean, we all do it. We train super hard for a 5K, or we study tirelessly for a degree, but the second that external event is over, our discipline just crumbles. Why do we constantly need these external metrics just to perform?
Well, here is the absolute truth. You are the purpose. The number one purpose in life is simply to better oneself. You don't need a race, you don't need a test. If you are waking up and refusing to put in the work because there's absolutely nothing on the schedule, it simply means you don't care enough about yourself. Having deep, unshakable pride in who you are is the only fuel required to keep the lights on in your mental lab.
Ultimately, it all comes down to a final choice between two states of existence. In the first state, the brain controls you. You're constantly pulled into different pockets of distraction, you're easily influenced by darkness, and you're ultimately defeated because, well, the human brain naturally seeks comfort. But in the second state, you control the brain. You force it to adapt. You immerse yourself in hell until hell literally becomes your new norm. Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world, but at the end of the day, it is just a tool. You have to tell it exactly where to go.
So think about it. When the internet goes down, when your friends aren't around, and you are entirely alone with your thoughts, if your brain is the only thing you have in those darkest moments, who is holding your steering wheel today? Is it your circumstances, or is it you? Take control of your mental lab, start organizing those shelves, and stop waiting for purpose to somehow find you. Thank you so much for hanging out and learning with me today on this explainer. Now get out there and build your mental armor.